because nothing human is alien to me. I don't belong to any religious society or any religious leanings. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the community, I am truly humbled, honored to be here tonight. In fact, I'm blessed. But on second thought, I think it's good to be blessed, but it's better to be a blessing. If I look around, I think nobody was born superior or born equal. A newborn child does not know about color, caste, religion, because God has no color. Religion has no color. Spirit has no color. What we have is a life that has to be useful. A life can only be useful if we are selfless, if we think about being honorable, being compassionate, being understanding to our fellow beings. I learned this lesson many, many years ago because I'm a refugee child, torn when India was split into two. My parents lost everything. I remember the long ration lines when food was scarce. I remember the still longer lines to school when education became a refuge for me. School became my refuge. But if I look back, when I was little, I would sleep and the dream was life was going to be a joy. When I came into contact with Mother Teresa in serving people, I started to realize that life was service. It wasn't all that joy. Later on in life, when I started acting on my dream and serving, I realized that service alone was the joy. A life of service was the joy. I recall what Winston Churchill once said, we make a living with what we get, but we make a life out of what we give. So ladies and gentlemen, our lives are very precious. We cannot be concerned about hate, discrimination, or anything. We have to respect each person's faith instead of faith and religion becoming a divisive force today. It should be a unifying force, especially so in these times. We live in a world which is aware of its own defeats and moral coarsenings. A world where there is embitterment and intolerance, increasing intolerance. The creative flame that kindled our great human society is flickering. There is no greater need today but to serve, because that is the ultimate reward in life, is service. We have to find ourselves in the service of others. Service can be small things. We don't have to do big things. We can respect our neighbor, feel our neighbors in us, because the greatest sin is not to hate your neighbors, but to be indifferent to their needs. I appeal to you, ladies and gentlemen, that today may be a Thanksgiving Interfaith Day, but this Thanksgiving has to be every day. We have to make this commitment on a daily basis. Just as we wake up, we have to think, not for us, because yes, as the rabbi said, we are torn between our time because we think we don't have the time or the energy to help anybody else. But let me tell you one thing, time is all we have. Time is all we have. Because I know from first hand, I spent what I had. I saved and I lost. But what I gave, I still have. I still have it in me because I give, not because I have. I may have achieved the American dream to the ultimate extent, but I wake up humble every morning. I wake up humble because I feel my neighbors, I feel the community. Outside my business, on my dumpsters, there's a sign that says, please don't dig into the dumpsters for food. Please come to the front. I will give you a warm meal. Because at the end of our journey, we are not going to be judged by what car we drove, or how many clothes we had, or what great things we did, or how many countries we visited, but what small things we did to change people's lives. Today is a special day. Let's resolve and challenge each one of us to look around and touch somebody with kindness. Kindness, or volunteer your time. It can be a small thing. It can be going to the retirement home, going to children's play orphanage. It could be bathing the senior people who are not able to, helping a disabled person, or helping a kid who's struggling with his grades, or inviting a homeless person into our thing. It's not the clothes he wears, but he also has the same thing. Our heart beats 74,000 times a day, approximately. Each second there's a heartbeat. And each heartbeat tells us how blessed we are to live. Can we change somebody's life? Can we touch somebody's life? If we touch our past, we are touching a rock. But if we touch our present, it's like touching a flower because it's so fragile. But touching the future, you can only touch if you touch somebody's life. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I appeal to your warm hearts and purses. Step up, embrace diversity and inclusion. Look as an integrated whole. Once we look beyond ourselves and look yonder, the magic will happen, just like the magic of Christmas. We will see through the same eyes, but we will see an entirely different world. Entirely different world. Because the poor don't need our pity. The poor don't need our sympathy. What they need is love and compassion. That love and compassion has to come from within us, not by me telling you, or you telling me, or me reading sermons. It has to be inborn. And that can only come, ladies and gentlemen, if each person's childhood is secure. The only way we can secure it is by giving them love and respect and dignity, and making them differentiate between the right and wrong. That means educating them. Education is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity that each one of us has to be responsible and accountable for, because society is bigger than the economy. When I used to pursue money, and I thought that was the end, I was always wanting more. I never had enough. But once I stopped serving, once I started serving, I feel I'm prosperous because I'm in peace. When a person gives, the feeling of giving makes him happy. But once he gives, he feels peaceful. But you know what happens after he gives? His spirit is uplifted. So let's uplift ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, today, and promise me that we will take some baby steps today. Thank you.